Hi, I'm Brian Deters. I'm a teacher turned political candidate. I'm running for Congress as a Democrat in the 18th Congressional District of Illinois. Our message is clear. We're tired of the political divide. We're tired of the broken system. We have way more things that unite us, but the reality of it is we feel division, and there's a reason for it. There are things out there that are profiting off of this division, putting a wedge between us. This video series is about raising awareness. We are now in our fourth and final look at 4 concepts that we've talked about. Hopefully you can go back if you haven't seen them and watch our video on elitism, absolutism, and sensationalism. Today, we talk about anti-intellectualism. So let's get started. When you hear anti-intellectualism, it kind of comes across as something that's not pleasant, something that's suggesting that we're this stupid society, and I'm telling you, it's not that at all. What it is about is actually attacking a particular group of people in our society, and there's a reason for it. So let's explore it. Anti-intellectualism simply is kind of being against intellectuals. So we're talking about scientists. We're talking about people who are professors at colleges and universities. We're talking about physicians, people that have done extensive studies in their fields to learn information, to try to better things, to try to better our society. One of the groups that has been in constant controversy in recent years has to do with a group we'll call climatologists. This is kind of the classic example maybe of this anti-intellectual push. So, what's been going on? As we know, our Earth, the climate, is in a state of a lot of strange weather. You go back to Hurricane Katrina in 2005, you look at weather just in the United States, the power of wildfires, droughts, hurricanes, horrible, powerful tornadoes. And we start to wonder what's going about. Well, climatologists study this. 97% of the climatologist community, these scientists who study climate, 97% have come out and said that human beings, what we do, how we use fossil fuels, the way we live our life, industrial existence, is having a huge impact on warming up our planet. And that needs to be something that we need to address. How we address it, that's a different issue. But the science community is saying, 97% of them, that indeed we have this issue. So I've always kind of used the analogy, if 97% of cardiologists who study your heart say to you, your heart is clogged, your heart has a problem, you need to stop eating cheeseburgers every day or you're going to have a heart attack. Most of us would tend to listen. But for some reason, this issue has, with the one with regards to the environment, has created a ton of controversy. So why is that? So what we need to try to figure out when we answer that question, why is that, is would there be something, some group, some institution that could profit off of creating this division? If we want to break through and look at this, and look at this 97% of the science community, by the way, I forgot to, in my haste, write down our theme here for today, so let's get that up here. 97% of scientists, climatologists, saying that man is having an impact on the earth, but there's so many people, maybe you're one of them, when you listen to this, to think, no, there's other reasons, this is an agenda. But I want us to think about that again. So why would the science community have an agenda to promote this? Are they making a whole lot of money about this? Or could we look at it as who would be to gain if there was denial to it? Maybe we could look at issues like big oil. Maybe we could look at fossil fuels and groups that work with them to make money. I think we all know that the answer is the latter of those two. The media then, through the ways that we talked about of absolutism and sensationalism, are creating this uncertainty in a lot of people's minds. And the reason is quite simple, because people are making a lot of money, and if we continue to push fossil fuels, these companies are going to continue to make a lot of money. They don't want people, they don't want scientists, and they don't want university types telling others that this is a problem that needs to change and we need to go about doing things differently. It's really as simple as that. Some people don't want to hear it, but it's really, it seems to me, it seems to a lot of people, to be what's going on here. Hey, there's another issue regarding anti-intellectualism that I want to talk about real quick, because I just saw this statistic last week. The Pew Research Center, maybe some of you have heard of it, they do a lot of statistics on issues, came out with a report last week, and they said in the report that 58% of Republican voters, Republican-leaning independents, in a study said that professors at colleges and universities, what they teach and their curriculum are hurting America. When I read that, it really made me think, where are we at in our culture where that many people are thinking that? What is it that these professors seem to be teaching that are so hurtful to who we are as a society? These are questions, if people really believe this, that we really as a society need to be sorting out right now. That number, I think this is important, according to this research, was up 45% from the year before. Now, let's tie a lot of things in here. Last year we know was a very, very turmoiled year for our country with the election of 2016, regardless of where we were at politically and in our minds. It has everything to do with media, how things are presented. It has everything to do with social media, our ideologies being stroked a certain way, one direction or the other. I think that this information is stuff that we really need to pay attention to. Professors at colleges and universities are people who have studied things extensively, have looked at things in a certain way. We have to get to a point where things that are studied, certain things that are studied, like the science issues, 97% of the science community saying the environment is warming up because of humans having a role in this. Shouldn't that be put into our schools in a way kind of like 2 + 2 = 4? How we want to handle it, that's up to us. If we want to continue with the sustained approach where we have fossil fuels but we have other alternatives, those are the conversations we need to have. But we need to accept facts and evidence. And I think that's a really important thing. Because if we don't, where are we at? If we don't know what is, considered to be scientifically proven, what does anything mean? And it can expose us to a lot of problems. So, when we talk about this, I want you all to understand this is not about trying to create any sort of conspiracy. It's just about looking at the situation at hand from a particular lens. And that's kind of what this whole video series has been about. What we need to do to move forward is just to continue to have the conversation. We need to continue to raise the awareness. We need to continue to understand that indeed there are groups that are profiting off of all of the different arguments and conflicts and us versus them things that we're dealing with in our society. And it needs to stop. And it stops by us as a society, as a culture, as people, saying we've had enough. We need to come together. We need to solve our problems. We don't all think the same way. That's what a democracy is about. We need to learn once again, like the Founding Fathers wanted us to many years ago, to make compromise, to have rational conversations about what our issues are about, and not scream at each other, and not have all this noise that's disrupting us. That's what we have to do. I hope to be able to lead conversations in my district that I'm running for, the Illinois 18th, and getting people to think just that. It's time to raise awareness. It's time to come together. It's time to heal. Thanks a lot.